What do builders value these days from your point of view?
They just want a work environment that they're happy in, and they want to work with guys that are like-minded and on the same page and have kind of a low-stress work environment.
What is success to you?
I think it was a learn to love it experience.
And there's always pitfalls that you can fall in, but then you've got no one else to blame but yourself.
Number one thing if you're struggling is to catch other people about it.
Hey guys, before we kick off, I just wanted to take a quick second to say thanks to our content partners, Abodo. You probably know Abodo from their featured timbers like cladding, decking, screening, and all those beautiful timbers that make our projects look amazing. Now, on top of all that, Abodo timber is actually grown and manufactured right here in New Zealand, and it's actually verified carbon negative. Now, what the heck is carbon negative? I'm going to be honest with you, I had to Google that. Carbon negative means Abodo actually takes more carbon out of the air than it puts in. That's got to be good, right? For the environment at least. Cheers, Abodo. You guys are actually legends. Now, let's kick off this episode. Nic Foster, thanks for coming on the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's been good. We obviously we have a little bit of history, even though we've never met until today in person, right?
Yeah.
Through my other business, Grow, we've done some like marketing for you guys, or I guess we helped you guys get your positioning ready with some branding and
website branding,
videography. And so I've been wanting to get you on for a while.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. I want to hear a little bit about, because, sometimes when you just like work on a professional basis, you don't sort of get to, have chats around like the background and how you got started and that sort of thing. So give me like a little bit of a rundown. Like, where did you? I mean, obviously you live up in Mangawhai or Mangawhai, depends if you're white like me or a Maori boy. Yeah. Tell me where you grew up. Did you grow up? Obviously, you didn't grow up there. You grew up more down here. What was your upbringing?
I grew up in Whanuapai.
Oh, cool. So
had a really cool upbringing. Yeah, it was not Whanuapai as it is now. Whanuapai is all chopped up into subdivisions, and you wouldn't really recognise it now. But yeah, when I grew up there, it was still a rural kind of setting. Yeah, it was great. You went to Whanuapai Primary and had the air base right there, and it was cool. You could walk to school and use the air base swimming pool, and
nice.
Yeah, it was awesome. We I was kind of my parents, we relocated an old Dilworth bungalow onto one of Whanuapai sites early on. So, yeah, cool. I was kind of amongst building from an early stage.
Because I remember when I used to work in real estate back in the day, we went through that transition. We had all these like 4 hectare kind of lots, like lifestyle blocks, and it all changed zoning, and then people start buying it and then putting like, 80 houses on there or something. So yeah, I've definitely seen the transition. It's definitely not what it used to be, right?
No,
in terms
it's
of
not. Yeah, hardly even recognise it anymore.
Kind of sad, right? When you probably drive through there and it's just a bunch of boxes.
It is, yeah. Yeah, especially, the place you grew up. But yeah, it's inevitable, I guess, as population grows, and yeah, it's a desirable place to live. So.
And what did your parents do?
They're both teachers.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, at same school? At that school? Or
no. So after Whanuapai, I actually went to Rutherford High out West Auckland.
Okay.
Which was tough because most of my friends from primary, they either went to Westlake or Massey.
Yeah.
So I was basically starting again, and my father taught at Rutherford. But it was a good school. It was small. Had a great time there because it was a smaller school. Everyone kind of knows everyone, and yeah.
That's cool.
Went right through the end. I did, my strong ones were obviously woodwork and graphics and design and PE. And
PE's the best, eh?
Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah, I think on the last year we were doing whitewater kayaking, golf and mountain biking.
Mate.
Didn't even really seem like school.
Best subjects ever, eh?
It was, yeah. It was awesome.
Just remember PE, you go to school and then you're like, you go do like a PE class, and you're running around, and then you're so sweaty, and then like, okay, cool, back in your school uniform. It's like the worst getting back in there, or like, sticky.
Back in the classroom.
Yeah, it's like the worst. It's like, but yeah, no, that's definitely one of the favorite ones. So who was Nick in high school? Like, what was your kind of vibe? How would your friends have described you?
I was actually pretty quiet, yeah, because my father taught at the school as well. I had to be on my best behaviour.
What was that like? Was it like?
I was tough, yeah.
Did you hate it? Or did
I did actually, yeah. But I don't know. I kept my head down and did reasonably well through school.
Yeah.
But end of school, I didn't really know what I wanted to do still. So I ended up. I've always loved kind of the outdoors and nature, and so I actually originally wanted to be an architect, but then I don't know if I quite had the grades to do that. So I ended up going to Unitec and doing a diploma in landscape design.
Okay.
And because I was even growing up in Whenuapai, I was always kind of out in the garden and that, helping mum. And I loved plants and nature, and it ended up being great doing that because it goes with building so well.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, so then at which point did you? So obviously you went there. What were your parents did they care what you wanted to do, or did they give you any advice?
No, they just wanted me to follow my passions, follow my strengths, and
cool.
that. Yeah, so so after I finished that diploma, I got a job working with a landscaping company, and it was really cool. They sort of did high-end landscapes, all Herne Bay, Parnell, Remuera, and it was really cool to see these amazing houses were kind of last in there. These amazing houses finished, and then we come and do the landscapes, and it would kind of ice the cake.
Yeah, so putting the makeup on. And
and it was cool. But I kind of struggled with lower back pain because it was really hard. There was a lot of paving, a lot of barrowing, really physical. So I ended up having to be on sort of heavy pain meds and anti-inflammatories and that. So I kind of parked the landscaping for a while, and I was talking to a friend, and he was like, "Oh, come give building a go." And because I've always loved building, because my father he was always kind of into renovations.
Right.
We relocated an old Dilworth bungalow onto the Whenuapai site, so I was always kind of helping him there. So I did a bit of building with him, but it wasn't actually a great start because the company that I worked for, they did masonry villas. So basically it was concrete block, concrete mid-floors. There wasn't much woodwork.
Right.
So I only did about a year there, and I didn't enjoy it. So I kind of left there and actually went back to landscaping again, and actually
back on those meds.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, I kind of worked my way up, and I was kind of running jobs at that point. But basically the back injuries still kept flaring up, and I actually went to the doctor, and he says you got to change careers. You got a really straight spine, not much lumbar in there, so you'll always be susceptible to back injury. So then, I didn't really know what to do. So I actually went back to Unitec, and I did a pre-trade building course, and I highly recommend that to anyone that's getting into building. It was a 1-year course, 3 days in the classroom, 2 days working with a builder. Okay. And it was an awesome way to kind of fast track your building career, because at the end of the 1 year, all of your theory was smashed out, and a lot of your practical elements. And we actually built a house on the Unitec grounds, but just a basic rectangular box, which then, they moved off and sold, and next class went and built.
Poor guy buying that house, eh?
Yeah. I think they sold them off cheap, yeah.
Someone's getting ripped off there. No, that's cool though. That's like a different way of doing it, eh? It's like
it was a real head start, because I had a lot of knowledge, had all the practical knowledge, and a lot of a lot of the skills as well.
And the big thing about that is like contextual knowledge, right? Because I think when the apprentices start up, like they kind of just, they learn something and they learn another thing and then they learn another thing, but they don't always understand where it fits in the big picture, right? So I think the way you did it, you get that real contextual knowledge of where things kind of fit in from the start in your first year.
Yeah.
Right? Where if you did a year apprenticeship, you're still, by the end of the first year, you might still be on the broom, you know?
Exactly, yeah. And it was quite cool because then when I moved on from that, I didn't have to pick up the broom. Like I was kind of jumping in midway. I didn't have to do kind of those low-level apprentice tasks.
Yeah. Oh, that's kind of cool. Okay, that's a different way of doing it.
Yeah.
Those pain meds, what sort of pain meds were you on?
Just basically, like real high-strength
Like
Voltarens.
opioids and stuff?
No, just Voltarens, 100 milligram Voltarens
Right.
and pain meds in that, yeah.
Yeah. No, I've got like a lot of friends that have got themselves stuck on some of those pain meds, because especially the opioids, the heroin.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
where it's pretty much like heroin.
Never had to go down that path. Yeah,
yeah, because now they just if you had the same issue today, they just throw you some opioids and whatever.
Yeah, they're really
format.
addictive. Yeah,
really addictive. Yeah.
Now I'm all sort of about preventative. Yeah,
yeah.
Because I tried everything: osteopaths, physios, chiropractors. Yeah.
Yeah, now, because I had a friend, he had like an operation, and then as soon as he finished his operation, a lot of friends come out of the woodwork being like, oh, hey, mate, what sort of payments are you on? Like, you got any leftover?
Yeah.
So you got to be careful for those things, guys, those pain meds. Do your research. And we'll talk about it because you're very into your kind of healthy lifestyle stuff now, which I want to touch on as well. Okay, cool. So then so that's like a different way of kind of like starting off your apprenticeship.
Yeah.
And then how long does it take before you get qualified?
So then basically I got really lucky, and I went to a job interview on the North Shore, and so I was still living out west, and then went for a job interview with he was actually a developer on the North Shore, and he's been the biggest mentor and the biggest
like positive influence
in my life. Yeah, and still good friends with him today, and I basically went to the interview. I don't think it was going that well. I might not have had enough kind of practical skills yet, but I think we're kind of getting to the end of the interview, and then it kind of, I don't know how it came up, motorbikes and that kind of thing, and then boom, it was kind of a shared, motocross bikes and wakeboarding and that kind of thing that we're into, and then I was back on, and I got the job, and so I kind of came in kind of mid-range, sort of almost like a hammer hand level.
Cool.
And then basically, I moved to the North Shore after that, because I didn't like to commute or anything like that. So we built. He was a developer, and we did sort of high-end spec houses all over the East Coast bays of the North Shore, Takapuna, Milford, Castor Bay, and I really looked up to him, and I was like, wow, I want to do this. It's
a different kind of spec, it's a different market, because it's not like the lower end stuff. It's kind of the high end. So you got to, I guess, you have a different buyer in mind at the end, So it's kind of more that higher end stuff of how they want to live. Yeah,
this was definitely the higher end of the market. Yeah, he'd normally try and buy a site well, and then move a house off or demo it, subdivide it, and then put 2 or 3 other big kind of townhouses on there.
Cool.
And it worked really well,
And so that's when you kind of, how long did you work there then until you sort of decided
I actually did 10 years with them,
Cool.
So I got qualified in that time, bought a subdividable house in Glenfield. And then wife and I, we shot overseas for a couple of years, because my mum was actually born in London, so had the right of abode over there.
Cool.
So we went over there for 2 years, and that was awesome. We did a couple of 3-month road trips, and I was working over there as well, just working to travel. didn't really enjoy the work over there so much, but it was a bit of an eye-opener. Yeah, saw 25 countries. Yeah, it was amazing.
And who were you when you left versus who were you when you got back? If you say you got, it was an eye opener. How did that change your mentality and how you sort of looked at life when you kind of came back?
Just it was a real culture shock going over there. Seeing 25 countries, it was awesome. Just seeing things, you've seen them in books and on TV, but it's not until you see it with your own eyes that you really appreciate it. Yeah, ancient ruins and amazing beaches and natural wonders and different foods and different cultures. Yeah, it was amazing. You
recommend it?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
That's cool. So then you came back, and then what did you go back working for? that guy?
Yeah. Went back working for him again. Yeah, so I was running jobs for him, and then he bought this amazing site in Takapuna, and it was a couple back from the beach, and it had this amazing old bungalow on it, and it was kind of too good to bowl or move off. So he had actually bought a site up in Waipu Cove right on the river, and he was decided to move that up there and it would become his batch. So chopped it in half, moved it up there, and I was lucky enough to go up there and stay up there and kind of put it back together and build decks and renovate it. So that was awesome. And then in the meantime, he was doing earthworks on that double site, getting it ready. That was cool.
That's kind of cool. So it's kind of full circle, a little bit of deja vu from the Whenuapai days, right?
Yeah. It was cool. Yeah, it's kind of a white stucco house with a terracotta roof. That was the Whenuapai bungalow, and this one was similar look, but it was white weatherboards and corrugated iron roof.
And was that the genesis of you thinking of moving up there?
Yeah, it was funny actually, because I was staying up there and then coming back on the weekends, and it was the plumber. We were just chatting at Smoko, and he was like, "Oh man, I've just been through Mangawhai and bought a really cheap section in there. You should go check it out." So I went. I think he paid 120 grand for a section. So instead of doing State Highway 1 time, I went back through Langs and through Mangawhai and checked it out. And this would have been, about 14 years ago, kind of post-recession, and drove through and, there's for sale signs everywhere, empty subdivisions. If you had a crystal ball, you would have bought as many sections as you could. And, going through Mangawhai, it kind of brought back memories, because I had a friend who... his parents had a batch up there, and we used to go up there. Good friend from high school. I've actually built his house. He's moved up, built his house in Mangawhai. So it brought back all these memories, and I was looking around, and there was 60 grand sections available.
Crazy.
And it was like, wow. And we ended up finding this triple site, and in the middle of this empty subdivision, we paid 90 grand for it. And we basically built a couple of 10 square metre cabins on it with a connecting roof. One was a bedroom and one was a bathroom kitchen. And then my wife and I would come up on the weekends and kind of spend time there, and then go home, back to work, and then we'd just come up every weekend, and we just wouldn't want to leave at the end of the weekend. So then, we decided to build a proper house on one of the sites, because I subdivided it into three sites.
So you bought one site for 90 grand and then subdivided it into three sites.
Yeah. It was a real lucky
what
buy.
would those individual sites be worth, for context, right now, if you bought it right now?
500,000 or 600,000 each.
So it's like 1.8 mil worth of sites you bought for like 90.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously pre-development costs and things like that, subdivision costs. Crazy. Okay, that's pretty good. So sounds like the 50s or something.
Yeah.
Okay, and then what? That was done. You guys were going to move up.
Yeah, so we decided to build a house up there. So we actually, wife and I, we designed it ourselves, got a draftsman to draft it up, because I always loved architecture, and being a builder, you know how big a lounge should be, you know how big a bathroom should be, you know, needs to face north, capture all the sun, and I always had these really cool design ideas that I wanted to try, and it was cool to be able to design your own home and just take it to a draftsman with all these hand sketches, and then he drafts it up. So we did that, built that, and then we're basically using it as a batch. And the same thing, would spend all the summers up there and spend every weekend, and then we just wouldn't want to leave. So we ended up deciding, let's just move up full time. And that's what we did. And we kept the Glenfield house and rented it out, and if we ever did want to come back to Auckland, but definitely never looked back.
What was that? That's pretty awesome, mate. I mean, I think a lot of people, especially now when the market's sort of shifting, especially in Auckland, maybe even people struggling to get work. We talked about this a little bit before. They may look at moving out, moving to a smaller area, even though Mangawhai is kind of almost like big now, doubled in size, like you said.
It's North Auckland.
North Auckland, right? It's North Auckland now. What's it been like moving up, and what are like some of the challenges of moving to like a smaller area?
At that time, we didn't have any kids, and I had work lined up, so it was easy. This is sort of 11, 12 years ago when Mangawhai was still like a quiet seaside town. And since then, it's just taken on massive growth. So it's almost unrecognisable from 11, 12 years ago.
Yeah.
So the transition was actually really, really easy. And it was the lifestyle. We went there for the lifestyle, the beach, surf beach, the estuary. Lots of bush walks around. And
you find that you guys take advantage of that, 'cause
100%, yeah.
On paper, sometimes people are like, we're going to move there, we're going to live like that, and then they don't. But you fully have immersed yourself into that lifestyle.
Yeah. It's kind of similar to my whenuapai upbringing, kind of that rural, and I wanted that for my kids. I wanted them to, my son's taking surfing lessons at the moment, and he does surf lifesaving, and
Cool.
There's just a lot more to offer. He's got a quad bike. It's cool. It's
a different lifestyle, eh?
It is.
So you guys then decided from there on, were you going to do just like spec homes?
Yeah. So I ended up building on all three of those sites individually. So we moved in, sold it, moved in, built, moved in, sold it, and we did a couple of private sales, and it gave us a really good head start. And we're basically just focusing on our own projects, but every now and then a client would come and, can you build us a house? And we never wanted to do that. We just wanted to focus on our own projects, because you didn't have to answer to anyone. You could make decisions on the fly. You could change things. I want to make that window bigger. I'm going to do it. I don't have to price up a variation. What paint colour we're using. You just make decisions and do
More
it.
fun.
Yeah, and then my landscaping came in as well. Would landscape them and sell them as a finished product. So people with blinds and sometimes built-in TVs and fridges, and so people would just come and fall in love with it and buy it. So we just went from one to the next, and then clients kept coming up saying, can you build us a house? Can you build us a house? And kept saying no, and eventually it was one of my brother-in-law's friends came to us, and he said, I've got a piece of land in Mangawhai, and I've just got a kit set home company to price it up, and if you want to do it, match it and you can do it. So I was a little bit interested, and then had a look at it, crunched some numbers, thought, could probably make that work. Had no idea how to price or anything like that, so it was kind of good. Had all this pricing information given to me, and so we jumped in on that, and me and one other, we smashed it out in about 3 months. We actually changed the design of the house, so we didn't get in trouble for just taking that
Right.
and building it. We we actually simplified it. It was basically a rectangular house, but it had quite a few ins and outs. So we basically just squared it up into a rectangle, which gave him a little bit more floor square meterage, but simplified the build.
Yeah.
And we smashed it out in 3 months, and then didn't know how to back cost or anything like that. So I think my accountant in the end worked out, he was like, oh, you made about 120 grand over 3 months. So I thought, oh, that's pretty good.
Sweet.
And so that was kind of the first into the client builds. And then his mate bought a section around the corner and was like, can you build me the same house for the same price? And had a look at his site. It was a little bit steeper and had some retaining walls on it. And I added a little bit more to it, but probably not enough. But we'd already built that house before, so we smashed that out in 3 months again. But because it was a sloping site, there was a lot more scaffolding, a lot more working at height. And I think we only made about maybe 80 grand on that one, but still not too bad for 3 months' work.
Yeah. So you kind of like accidentally fell into building for others.
We did, yeah. And then, continued on with the spec houses. And then we ended up buying into, early on again, into a lifestyle subdivision on the outskirts of Mangawhai. It was basically an empty subdivision as well. It was about 10 years old, but it was kind of like no one wanted a lifestyle block, and it was in a gated community. So there was, so we bought well in there, and then built. It was meant to be my wife's forever home, dream home. So we built that, moved into there, and then right before my son was born. So had a pretty tight deadline to get the house finished before that, and then I think we stayed in there for about 2 or 3 years, and then someone came and knocked on the door wanting to buy the house cash. So we basically sold that and then bought the section next door, which was in the same lifestyle subdivision. It was actually the biggest section in there. It was a 6 hectare bush block.
Cool.
And we ended up subdividing that into 4 sections, and we're still there today. And then we built my wife's second forever dream home.
This keeps going. Your forever home. You get 2 years in this forever home.
I still joke to her about that. And that was complete just before the birth of our daughter as well. So that one had a
going.
tight deadline on it as well.
It's like deja vu. I think we've been here before, just next door. Okay, so that's cool. So do you think so from what it sounds like, is you built these spec homes. It is very different. I remember having a conversation with another builder who sort of talked about the difference between having your own kind of like show home, and that could be an official show home, or it could be a pseudo show home, meaning like your family home that you bring people through, which I'm sure your wife loves, tidying up every time people come through. How important do you think it is to have like a show home of some sort, so people can, because people aren't very visual sometimes, right?
Exactly, clients aren't very visual. I think it's really important. Like, it doesn't have to be its own show home. I think that's more for, the GJ gardeners and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I think it's good to have a home. It doesn't have to, we use our home because we've done a lot of things in there that clients might not want to do. And we've done all sorts of cool features and that kind of thing, and it's been really, really good to bring clients into the home so they can see firsthand what we can do, and then they kind of get that trust early on. Wow, these guys can do this, and the quality's there. So,
is it different as well when you're like there, it's your home, your wife's there? Like, is it almost like build more that trust and connection faster?
Yeah, definitely.
Where do you take them? You make them sit in the living room and have a coffee and sit
basically
down?
Walk them through the house, because every room in our house has got some kind of feature in it, whether it's a cedar ceiling or bespoke built-in bunks. So it's cool just to, and
show
it's
what can
easy,
be done.
and it's flowing. and that we don't take on any client builds. I have to meet the client first, see if I get a good vibe and a good feeling with them. There's good energy there, and because it's a journey. It's at least a 1 year journey, and I'm a pretty good judge of character. I can kind of work out whether they're going to be hard work or not, or I want it to be a fun, enjoyable experience for all of us. My guys, the client, us, as stress-free as possible, and it to just flow, I guess. And
that's important, eh? I mean, okay, so you I think that's a really good thing. I mean, a lot of people probably thinking, it'll be really expensive to kind of do that. But I mean, if people already own a home,
taking them into our own home, it's a kind of relaxing environment. You're just kind of talking normally, showing them what we can do, and it's So
do you think in today's market, 2024, with the interest rates and the land prices and the construction costs, that it's feasible from your point of view? If there was a builder that was sort of like, he used to do some good builds, but like things are sort of quieting down a bit, to just find a section, build himself a family home and move into that, and then have that set up, maybe in 18 months' time, he's got himself like a beautiful... Do you think that's still worth it?
Yep, definitely, yeah. I don't think you'd want to build a show home and just have it sitting there it's too much of a cost outlay. Yeah. But if you can incorporate that into your family home and your wife's on board with it, my wife's on the fence about that, then it's a really good way to show what you can do. We've also got a lot of clients as well that are really house proud, and there's a couple that I can just ring up with half an hour's notice and can I bring a client through, and they'll talk us up all day long and show them around, and
you've got some happy clients. I remember when we were doing your kind of hero video content, some case study content. It was that watched that video of that. There's like that couple in that subdivision. They were just like so chuffed and so happy.
Well, that's what we want at the end. We want the client to have no regrets. So we welcome change as well. If a client wants to change things, then that's fine. We want them to move in and have no regrets and have an enjoyable experience.
Yeah, super important. Okay, so how big is your team? People always want to know, the number one question, find two builders at a barbecue that don't know each other. Yeah. First question is, what's your name? Second question, how big is your team? How many guys you got?
So at the moment, we've got eight guys. So I'm basically running 2 teams of 4.
Cool.
So, we try and run sort of 2 builds a year.
And what's the mix of those guys, sort of qualified versus apprentice?
So on each of those teams, there's only 1 apprentice. So, I'd rather kind of be, these days, top heavy. So
why is that?
A little bit less management. Right. It's kind of a little bit more professional as well with the kind of target client that we're targeting. You don't have, a lot of these young guys that may not be kind of super professional and that,
So do the qualified guys, are they like sort of your age, younger or older? Are the guys that have more experience than you or no?
Yep. Yeah, my main guy, he's actually an ex-boat builder. So
cool.
His leadership skills are just amazing. Yeah, a lot better than mine. And he's millimetre perfect. He drives the guys.
That's awesome, mate. How important is it to like build a team that's like better than you in a lot of aspects?
Oh, super important. Yeah. And then as well, the dynamics on the team as well. Each team's got to work well with each other.
Yeah.
We try and I really try and look after the guys, pay them as much as I can pay them. We go. I take them out to breakfast once a month, and we have beers on a Friday, and just try and keep a really good tight team culture.
Yeah, it's important, eh? Like, what do you think builders value these days? Do you think they value the ute or the petrol card or the barbecues or the team, the team fishing trip? Like, what do builders value these days from your point of view, the guys coming through?
Yeah, like all that kind of stuff is good, but I think they just want a work environment that they're happy in. They want to work with guys that are like-minded and on the same page, and have kind of a low-stress work environment where everyone's positive, everyone's lifting each other up, everyone's trying to help each other out and progress everyone's career and teaching and just growth.
It's almost like this, just the day-to-day, that's important. Like, because you can sometimes have the shiny things, like you see someone on social media, the team's out fishing or whatever, right? Like those are the once-offs. It's like almost like a marriage, right? You can go for white tablecloth dinners and put it on Instagram, but that's not being married. It's more the day-to-day, being happy, And that's probably the same, right? It's just making sure that it's a good team environment. Guys come in, say hi to each other.
Yeah, exactly. Having smoko together, chatting, positive encouragement.
What's your leadership style?
I'm basically there just to back everyone up, to lift everyone up, to try and grow their careers, get them to kind of set goals and progress in their careers.
So do you mind if people, like, if their goal is like to 3 years from now to leave, would that be, I mean, obviously it'd be annoying, but do you mind like teaching guys?
Not at all. Yeah. Like at some point, everyone's got to go out on their own and flap their wings if they want to. I welcome that. Yeah. I want, people to progress, take on people, apprentices, and they'll work their way up and
How have you, because you kind of work your way up and then you kind of build your own spec homes, then you sort of build a home at a time for clients. Now you're running like 2 projects at a time and they could be like architectural and complicated. How do you sort of maintain quality when you sort of grow and get more team members? And is there sort of a way where you're able to kind of keep your eye on everything, or do you have other people like maintaining quality on your behalf? And how do you do it?
Basically, both the foremen are perfectionists, so I don't have a problem with the quality, and the target clients, they are after the quality as well, so they're prepared to pay more. We target the 2 million plus builds, so those kind of clients, they're not nickeling and diming for the cheapest builder out there. They're quality focused. They're prepared to pay more for quality. So it's all about slowing it down and getting it millimetre perfect, because the client appreciates that. Yeah.
Okay. What's been like, I always want to know, because everything looks all nice. Like you look at your socials, you're building these beautiful architectural homes, and you drive past your sites and it's all amazing, and you got your beautiful truck outside with your brand new branding, and it just looks like, mint. But running a construction company is not all sort of like, running in a field of daisies, right? There's complications, shit goes wrong. What's been the sort of hardest part for you running your business since you started? Has there been anything that sort of stands out?
I think it's just learning it as I went. As soon as you get off the tools, like I've been off the tools for probably 3 or 4 years now, and unless you go back to uni and do a business degree or a project management course, you don't have any of those skills. So it's kind of learn as you go, make mistakes, learn, don't make that mistake again, kind of thing. And reach out, ask if you don't know, find out, and don't make the same mistake twice.
And how do you find the culture there among builders? People quite happy and open to reach out to each other?
Yeah, I think it's getting better and better. I don't think it was that great in the past. People kind of kept quite all their cards close to their chest and that kind of thing. But I think it's changing now. If anyone wants to ask me anything, I'll tell them how I run it or this and that, and happy to share and try and help other people out. I think that's what it's all about.
Yeah, I think that's super important, for guys to learn from one another. And there's always someone that, you might have a challenge, but someone else has solved it.
Yeah.
And if you just, if you just ask them, it would go so much faster, right?
Yeah,
Getting
definitely.
that done. I want to know a little bit about like what numbers you care about in your business. So what do you look at you've been off the tools, you're a bit more in the office. Assume you're sort of keeping an eye on how the numbers are tracking. Are there particular numbers like financials, things that you sort of look at particularly to know whether you're on track for the year or not on track?
Yeah, so we run it super simple. So normally you're only running two builds at once, and we won't do a fixed price build. We'll only run cost reimbursement or charge up.
Okay.
And I'll discuss that with the client because I believe it's the fairest way. You're not having to load it up with big margins to cover this or that, and the client's getting what they pay for. So basically, we will get the QS to come on, price the build at the start, and then that's kind of they get a bottom line figure that we're trying to get to, and then we do monthly payment claims, completely open book. The client will see all the invoices, timesheets, everything, and then the QS will put it together in a payment claim and then do a cost tracking report with that, so we can see how it's tracking against the original estimate. And that's worked really well.
Do you get any issues with, because you obviously follow like a proper payment claim process? Payment claims have been a hot topic on this podcast over the last few months. Do you ever get people that come back should I say properly, or come back within that period of time to kind of, if they're not happy with what's on the payment claim, or do people generally not know how that works?
Generally, if you're only dealing with a client, they don't really understand. Like with the payment claim, because it's a month's payment claim, there's a lot of info there. So there might be a few queries through it.
Then how many days have they got to get back to you?
I'm not too sure. I think the formal is maybe seven days.
Yeah.
But we haven't had any problems. We did a build recently, and we had to use the architect's contract, which was a little bit different, and they were managing all the payments, and they would pull apart the payment claims and that kind of thing. So that was quite formal. That was a big learning curve, and our QS kind of coached us through it, and
so they would come back sometimes with some discrepancies that they believe wasn't,
And I didn't really have the knowledge there, so I was kind of relying on the QS to make sure the I's were dotted and the T's were crossed. And making sure it was all legal, so that they didn't have any.
100%. I mean, builders listening to this now would probably be rolling their eyes because I've said it so many times. But just like understanding the Construction Contracts Act, and just understanding just the steps of the payment claim, super important.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, touch wood, we've never had a problem payer, and we've never not been paid. But you got to make sure the I's are crossed.
Yeah, the T's are crossed, I's are dotted.
That's that one. Yeah.
Let me ask you this then, Nick. I know you've gone through different iterations of your life in terms of what you focus on and whatnot, and I know that like lately you've focused a lot more on like your health, physical health, mental health, and all of that sort of stuff. But like, what is success? What is success to you now?
Balance is really important. I've got a young family. I've got a 3-year-old and a 6-year-old, so it's spending as much time as I can with them. Like I'll only do a 40-hour week. I won't work on the weekends. It's spending as much present quality time with my kids while they're young as possible. Keeping the business where I want it, keeping it stress-free, and just constantly trying to improve myself, and just enjoying life as well. Yeah,
that's awesome, man. What and I know, like we talked last time, there was like some sort of like trajectory change in your life, right? That happened. You talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah. So 2 years ago, we lost a close friend to cancer, and that was a real kind of change in my life to really, really start appreciating life and be grateful for every single day, because you don't know when your last day is going to be, and it can happen so quick. Like, you might not wake up tomorrow. So being grateful, and that I kind of went on her cancer journey with her, and picked up a lot of things that she was doing, meditation and breath work, and just cleaned up my diet and that kind of thing. And that was a real change. So I took a lot of positive out of that to, basically stay fit and healthy, and prolong my life, I guess.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And how do you, so what sort of stuff do you do now to kind of like, I mean, I guess a big part in meditation, I assume, is like around like being present and not sort of focusing too much on the future or the past, and just kind of enjoying life as it is right now. Yeah. What else do you kind of do? How do you eat differently now than you used to, and what sort of other things do you do to kind of like keep your? Because I don't think physical health and mental, I think it's all the same thing, right? It's all kind of connected. So what do you kind of do to kind of keep it all like, so let's say healthy, quote unquote?
Yeah, so I'm really aware of my diet. As hard as it is, I try to cut out sugar and gluten and dairy and those kind of things. You can't completely cut them out. But I'm always watching what I eat. Yeah, making sure it's as organic and that as possible. Not overeating.
How do you do that? Because I find myself snacking a lot at night.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's just discipline, eh? And like I'll make sure I stop eating at 6 p.m. so food can properly digest before you go into sleep. And sleep's super important. Your body repairing itself and that. So stop eating at 6 o'clock, and eating more often than not. So smaller portions spread out through the day rather than 3 big meals. Yeah, I've found really good.
In terms of the dairy, we down the road, because we live kind of semi in the country, but like down the road, we have organic like dairy farm.
Raw milk.
Like raw milk. Yeah. So like we've been smashed, because back in the day I used to eat a lot of paleo before I got fat, and then we used to have no dairy, but now we have like the organic milk, or just the raw milk, non-homogenized, non-pasteurized, and we actually feel like quite good on it. Yeah. Have you done any research? Have any thoughts on
No, I haven't actually. Yeah. The only research I've done on dairy is we're not meant to be consuming dairy.
Right.
We're the only animal that eats another animal's milk. And we don't really have the stomachs to process it properly.
Right. Well, that could be true. I know I watched a thing the other day where it says like the homogenized process or something is about might be the pasteurized process, but it's about like cutting down like the fat particles in the milk or something, and then it creates like an artificial kind of milk. Yeah. Almost. So that all the blue top milk in the supermarket and stuff is like the fat particles within the milk as they've changed the makeup of it. Yeah. And that's why could also be why it's sort of like our bodies are like freaks out really when we consume a lot of it. Yeah,
it's been modified so much, and I don't think it's got much calcium in it anymore. You've got to add calcium to it.
Yeah, it gets rid of pretty much all the calcium.
Yeah.
So all this sort of drink milk, blue top milk for calcium, it's not real. It's not really real. But once your eyes get opened, you put your tinfoil hat on and it's over.
Yeah.
My wife starts talking to me about flat Earth now. It's like, okay, easy. it can get to that point too. So, okay, so kids are really important to you. So what sort of practical things have you done now to make sure that you can keep that balance, making sure you spend time with your young kids versus, being, face down, ass up and work all the time? Like, what sort of practical things do you do? Anything with your phone? Okay, that's the one thing I struggle with. What other things practically do you do?
Yeah, the phone's definitely a real struggle. Yeah, I basically switch it off at 5 o'clock, and you can't contact me after 5 o'clock.
Just off somewhere.
Yeah, on aeroplane mode. Yeah.
Cool.
And it's just letting people know that as well, so they're not trying to ring you at 5:05. Because, even if the phone's in the room, and it's away from you, if a call comes in or you hear it and that, it's just time away from your kids that you're not really there. And and they notice that as well. They notice if your phone's there or, you're not really there. They're talking to you and you're not answering them back because you're thinking about this or that. Yeah, so I'm really aware of that.
100%, man. I had my 6 month, I was probably 8 month old now he is, but whatever. He was like 7 month old maybe last month, where I was on my phone, right, doing something, and he was in front of me. So he didn't see the screen. He only saw the back of the phone. And then I would take the phone and I'd put the phone down next to me, and his eyes would follow the phone.
Yeah.
And he knew, even with his little 6 month old brain, just through watching me and my wife, he knew that phone was important.
Yeah.
Somehow, you know what I mean? Because he kept looking at it like it's something important.
Yeah.
And that kind of made me think it wasn't the screen that caught his attention. It's just literally his back. So I was showing him subconsciously that this phone is really, really important.
Yeah.
And probably even more important than he is at times.
Yeah.
And that's sort of so I've been having a lot of discussions around what we could do with our phones and how we can get rid of it at times, and whether we should completely get rid of it and buy like a dumb phone.
Yeah.
Or whether we should, put some more stricter guidelines and have some more discipline around it.
Yeah.
So that's definitely been something that
we've even just putting in it when you come in after a day's work, you just put it in a bowl or something.
Yeah.
And then so I won't. No phones from 5 to 7. Kids go to bed at 7, and then you can pick it back up again. But then even in the mornings as well, just being super aware.
Yeah.
Of it. Yeah, we don't give our kids any screen time.
That's awesome, man.
So it's
not even TV.
Yeah, a little bit of TV. Sorry, but no tablets or phones.
Devices. Yeah.
Because it's actually an addiction.
Well, we get addicted to it. Let alone
totally.
The brain of a child, right?
Yeah.
I read this thing the other day that said, I mean, we all know it, but the massive discrepancy or difference between a child watching something, say, on a wall that they can't control versus something that's in their hand that they can control.
Yeah.
It triggers different parts of the brain.
Yeah.
So if you give your child an iPad, and no judgment, sometimes people got to survive, multiple kids and busy or whatever. So no judgment there, but if they have an iPad that they can control or a phone that they can control, it's like a much bigger endorphin release, and it's like more you get addicted to it. It's like gambling, more so than watching it on a wall.
Yeah, it is an addiction.
Yeah. Well, we live in a world now we're so addicted to technology where, you watch a movie on a TV and it's like equivalent to walking through the forest or something compared to being on your phone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's so sad, where we're at. But yeah, okay, that's really good advice. Okay, some fun questions. I think we've coming up to an hour now, which is it goes pretty quick, right?
Yeah, it does.
Sort of, in terms of you, if money and status were no object, how would you spend your time? What would you do?
I think I'd just spend all my time with my kids. Yeah.
And what would you do?
Probably just travel the world. Yeah. Just show them all different cultures, different places. Yeah.
And why do you think you're not doing that now?
Well, we're actually planning next year, because our youngest is 3, next year to start doing annual overseas trips. We're planning Japan for April next year, And then, yes, I want to take them to Bali as well. But just, once they get a little bit older as well, so they can really appreciate it and a little bit safer as well for them to travel.
Yeah, 100%. That would be cool, man. That would be awesome. Because we can make time for these things more. We're probably more in control of than we think sometimes with a lot of these ways that we want to live. You know, we just get sort of like distracted, I think, or at least I do. Has your company sort of growing and you becoming a bit more financially, financially successful? Has that changed how you look at life or any of your values or anything over time?
I've kind of got the company to where I want it now. We took on quite a bit of growth over sort of that COVID period, and it got a bit stressful, and we got a bit too big, and kind of that was when kind of the quality was kind of lacking in that, and now I've kind of trimmed it back to a more manageable, less stress. I'd rather just kind of have the low stress, pick and choose the clients we want to work for, and not coast, but just keep it at that pace, so I can spend as much time as I can with my kids while they're young, and maybe look at growing it in a few years' time or something, or maybe not.
Yeah. What's your sort of like relationship to stress, and what are your thoughts on stress? Like, is stress something I've always wondered? You know, I guess you need a certain level of stress, otherwise you're not doing anything. But do we need a lot of stress and just need to like learn how to really manage it well, or do we need to look at cutting back on the stress? Like, you know what I mean? It's like a different thing. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, I guess everyone's different. I've always dealt with stress pretty well, but I know it's the number one killer, stress. So yeah, everyone's different. I've always managed stress well, dealt well with stress, but not like stress. So now I'm really aware of it, and I want to keep the stress levels down. And then finding ways of doing that, basically. Yeah, whether it's meditation, running barefoot on the beach. Yeah,
it's always like it's in proportion to your goals, right? In the end of the day, so if you look at someone like Elon Musk, right? He's like the apparently he's like the wealthiest guy on earth. You watch a lot of interviews, he kind of say people wouldn't want my life, and he's super stressful. I saw a photo of him on a yacht, and he was so white, like you could, he looked like a piece of paper, and he's just sort of stressed, so stressed out, right? So that's like the extreme that, and then the other extreme is maybe like, someone just sleeping on the street and not doing anything and just hanging out, right? So you want to be somewhere there in between those, somewhere in the middle. So I guess it depends on how big your goals are, and the bigger your goals are, the more stress you're going to have to eat, put on your shoulders. But it is a little bit of a Russian roulette situation, right? If stress is the biggest killer, and for you to have like a really big success, you got to take on a lot of stress. You're really playing with a little bit of, it's a bit of risk factor there in terms of when it comes to your health, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I think, now we're in a really good place. We've got a lot of equity in that, not having to, I've done the hard yards. So now we can we're in a good place. We want to bring back on doing our own projects again. We do kind of fit them in between the client builds, but I want to more focus on doing those when the interest rates drop a wee bit more, and it becomes a bit more viable to do that. Yeah, because that's where the passion is, doing your own projects. Yeah, not answering to any client. Yeah, making decisions as you go. Yeah, it just flows. Yeah. And then just completing the project as well, landscaping it, and that's the goal. Get back into doing that.
Awesome, that definitely would be the dream, eh?
And my wife, she works on that with us as well. She does all the interior design, so actually a really good working team together.
Cool. And how do you and your wife work together? Have you found a way to separate work and personal? And
well, she's had a bit of a break with the kids and that. She's been stay-at-home mum for sort of the last six years now, so she wants to get back into that. I say I'm the boss, but she says she's the boss, and yeah.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Cool. I really appreciate you coming on. It's been kind of cool because you were like a client, but now we could have like a bit of more of like a deeper convo, which is for me kind of more interesting, you know, than just talking branding and and that sort of stuff, which is important too. So I've got some rapid fire questions. Are you happy to shoot some rapid fire questions?
Yeah, sure.
Feel free to pass on any if you want, but they're not that complicated, I don't think, or that tricky. Okay, so remind me, how big is your team, Nick?
So 2 teams of 4, so we've got 8, and then me and my wife.
Yeah, in the office.
Yeah.
Crew mix. You said last time you've got 8 guys, and then like 2 of them are apprentices.
Yeah. Apprentice on each team. Yeah.
Awesome. How many projects did you complete last year?
2.
2. What was your turnover range? Under 1 mil, 1 to 3, 3 to 5, 5 to 7, 7 to 10, or 10 mil plus?
Would have been just into the 3 to 5. Yeah.
Cool. What's the lowest gross profit margin building companies should be aiming for, in your opinion?
20%.
Free quote or paid quote?
Both. I've done both. It depends on the client. Yeah. I've got a really, really good conversion rate, so I'm happy to price for free. But if I'm pricing against other people, then paid.
Yeah.
Quote.
QS or price yourself?
QS.
Project management software or spreadsheets?
Project management software, yeah.
What do you use?
I'm using Buildertrend, but you may have converted me to go to Rave Build. I've had a demo with Rave Build.
Oh, cool. Shout out. Rave Build.
Yeah, Rave Build. They're cheaper and should do same. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, awesome guys. Obviously that work
The
there.
clients love the Buildertrend. Yeah, they love be able to log on to their client portal, see the daily uploads, see the schedule. Yeah, because most of our clients are, they might only come up once a month. So seeing the daily logs and that, seeing photos of the progress, they get really pumped on that. It's awesome.
That's awesome. Does that ever open a can of worms? Like you show them too much and then it just leads to more questions and just more hassle?
No, it hasn't. Yeah. One of our clients that was Auckland based while we were building for him, he said that they kind of had a bit of a ritual. They'd have dinner together and then they'd all sit by and flick through all the photos.
Cool.
Which was cool, yeah.
Oh, that's nice. So they kind of feel like they're part of the process.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's awesome. Texting or talking on the phone?
50-50, yeah. I do like texting because then it's written there.
Yeah.
And
what's your favorite emoji?
It'll be the laughing face on the
Sideways
side.
one?
Yeah.
The normal laughing face is just like people know you're not laughing, eh? You have to do the sideways one to really show that it's
definitely.
Funny. Yeah. Fixed price or charge up?
Charge up. Yeah.
Yeah. Would you rather have a beer with an architect, a subby, or council member?
Subby. Yeah.
Jock or hippie?
Hippie.
Wine or whiskey?
Whiskey.
These days, building business owners are A, too impatient, B, forward thinkers, or C, hard workers?
Good question. Probably a bit of all 3. Yeah.
Younger guys coming through are definitely like out of the box kind of think, or willing to like change things up.
Yeah. You got to have a growth mindset, to succeed. I think that's really important.
Are you too mean or too nice to your staff?
Too nice.
Well, we'll ask. We'll hear from them. Comment below. Favorite business book or resource that you've used or read or watched or?
Probably the Better Builder podcast.
Yeah, shout out. I agree. What's one item you can't live without?
Unfortunately, I probably have to say my phone. Yeah. Basically run the business from the phone these days.
Yeah. It's a love-hate relationship.
It is. Yeah.
Because how awesome is it that you can pick your kids up from school, and while you're sitting there waiting for them to come out, you can send like 3
Bang
emails.
out some emails. Yeah.
Also, sitting on your phone at 10:30 at night scrolling through Instagram, not good.
But it's everything these days, eh? It's your camera, it's your alarm clock,
Your maps, and
it is.
Yeah.
Just ticks so many of the boxes.
Yeah.
Can't live without it, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know. Who's inspired you the most in life or in business?
I'm going to say, Trevor Willis, Premium Construction,
Awesome. Shout out to him.
Yeah.
Did you have fun?
I did. Yeah.
Awesome, man. I really appreciate you coming on, and I definitely got just a lot out of that, and especially all that the health side of things as well. And I think that thing of putting your phone on airplane mode when you get home is. I think I'm going to start doing that.
Yeah.
Try doing that because
everything can wait.
I'm an addict.
Tomorrow. Yeah.
So I really appreciate that, man. Thanks, Nic.
Thanks, Brad. Yeah. Cheers.